So without any further ado, we want to go to Brunswick, Georgia right now to get you an update on what we missed while we were in Kenosha. We have Court TV legal correspondent Julia Janae standing by for us live outside of the courthouse in Brunswick. Julia, good afternoon. Tell us what we missed while we were watching things in Kenosha.
Good afternoon, Julie. Court is on a lunch break right now. These jurors are going to be headed back to the courthouse to hear more testimony from an investigator who was on the scene. But earlier today, they heard from one of the first non-officer, non-investigator type witnesses on this stand, and that's neighbor Matt Albizi. People may recognize his voice when he is on the stand testifying because he's the one who made the initial call to police about Ahmaud Arbery. So not the call that Gregory McMichaels made from the cab of the pickup truck, but the first neighbor who saw Arbery inside that home under construction at Satilla Shores. He had some emotional moments during his testimony when he recounted how difficult it's been for him, the threats that he gets on the phone, and he said he actually wishes that he had not made that call, or really was concerned about the fact that he made that call because he knew it started the whole thing. But here's some of his testimony today where he talks about that initial encounter and how he reacted to seeing Arbery.
What did you see?
I just stood up to move some wood, and I noticed Mr. Arbery standing in the front yard of that house.
Now, at that point in time, did you know his name?
No.
Okay. So he was a stranger to you?
Yes.
All right. So you saw him standing in front of the house?
Yes.
How was he dressed?
Maybe a t-shirt and shorts.
Did he have any bags with him?
No, not that I recall, no.
Backpack on him?
No.
What did you see the young man do?
He was just standing there looking around. It's a good distance away.
So what did you decide to do? What happened next?
What came to mind was Mr. English's video, something that looked like that on his dock at night. So I split her off, grabbed my phone, walked down to the corner.
And did you go in the house and get something else too?
Yeah, I had a pistol in my pocket.
Okay. So you got your phone, you got your gun, and you walked down to the end of the drive, or the end of the street.
Right.
Now, one of the big points that Albenzi was able, or the prosecution rather, was able to get out of Albenzi on this stand is that he's not sure whether Ahmaud Arbery saw him and then started running. That has been part of the defense narrative, that Arbery was running because Albenzi spotted him inside the Larry English home in Satilla Shores. But today on the stand, he said even though he told the GBI and investigators that he suspected that Arbery saw him, this day, sitting in court, he cannot be sure if he actually was noticed by Arbery.
Okay, Julia, I know we've heard that name. We heard it in the States Open, and so now it's all kind of coming together, this story. Tell us, what else really stuck out to you today, this morning, in the afternoon? Any other really big moments our audience might have missed?
Oh, Julie, this morning, Officer Nohilly took the stand. He is the law enforcement officer who interviewed Gregory McMichaels. So we ran into this issue again of only pulling out bits and pieces from those statements that Gregory McMichaels told police in the minutes and then hours after the shooting of Arbery. And one of the things on cross that I found interesting that came out is that they tried to use Nohilly as almost their use of force expert. They asked him questions about what he would have done if he was pursuing someone who did not respond to his verbal commands. If they did not stop when he asked, would he then have to pull out his weapon? And we know the judge has said that the defense can't bring in their own use of force expert to talk about how law enforcement would handle certain threats, but they were able to, through this witness, talk about the circumstances where a gun would be used when there's an altercation or a suspect who is fleeing from them. But here's more from Nohilly's testimony on the stand.
Line 16 is where the conversation was in the middle of Greg McMichaels' comments to you about Ahmaud Arbery, where he said, I mean, this guy, he was in good shape. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay. And then he goes on to say, in that same context, completing his thoughts to you, and there was no hesitation on his part when he came to Travis. I mean, his intention was to grab that gun and probably shoot Travis. That's in my mind. That's what I saw, you know. And with that in mind, if he'd had gotten that shotgun and there was any separation between Travis and him, I was going to cap his ass.
So again, we are hearing there the cross-examination of this witness by the attorney for Gregory McMichael. Self-defense at the center of the defense's case, and what they say was happening. It's all about state of mind, Julie. So these witnesses, once they are being cross-examined, these attorneys are pulling out anything that may go to Gregory McMichael reasonably believing that Arbery was a suspect, and that being in his mind when they chose to pursue him.
This case is really, really involved with regards to that. Julia, thank you for that explanation and the update. Before we let you go, I want to ask you about what was happening outside the courthouse this afternoon. Maybe it is even still going on. I read that there was a prayer vigil that's being led by the family of Ahmaud Arbery. Other attorneys are present as well. What, if anything, can you share with us about that, please?
A really large prayer vigil on the steps in front of this courthouse, and that was during the lunch break. It just wrapped up moments ago. This was a showing not just from civil rights icons. Reverend Al Sharpton is here, but also attorneys for this family, Ben Crump, Lee Merritt, and the parents of Ahmaud Arbery. And they were also joined by another family who feels that their loved one was killed wrongfully, and that there was no conviction or even an arrest in it, the Sutherlands. So this was just a large showing in front of this courthouse, and we expect that we're going to be able to bring that to you in the next part of time. We're still working on getting that and bringing it to our viewers.
Sure. Julia, thank you for that. As soon as we do get all that video, we'll be sure to air it right here. Thank you for that update.